How's it? I'm Don, I'm an alcoholic.
Don.
Yeah, I am nervous. I just want to keep this short and sweet and simple. So basically, the second year has been really tough for me. It hasn't been easy. It was nothing like my first year. So there is a God, because I'm still clean and sober. I don't know how, but yeah. I'll just start from the beginning. I came out of a loving home. No problems at home. Parents weren't abusive or anything like that. Very supportive, understanding, but strict as well. And they were always there. And school, I think all the way through primary school and high school. And you've heard this lots of times before. Like, there's loads of fear. I had loads of fear. My whole mission around about that time was just trying to fit in, wanting to be accepted by everybody, and it was exhausting. So I would go to any lengths just to make a friend and to feel part of. I'd literally do anything. And I had different groups of friends, so lots of masks, and just didn't really know who I was anymore. And that was basically my school career. I was on drugs from the age of 6, though. I got put onto Ritalin medication to help with with being hyperactive. I can't remember if it helped or not. And I took that all the way through primary school, even a bit into high school. So my first drink was in primary school. I think it was about grade 5 or 6. I remember a friend of mine coming home with me, and my dad had liquor at home, and it was on the wall, like upside down in that little thing, whatever you call that. And I remember having a shot of whiskey, and so did he, and he didn't want another one. He hated it. He hated the way it tasted. I had another one after that, and I got sick. I got drunk, sick, and I had a hangover in that afternoon. I even started smoking cigarettes at a young age because all my friends were doing it. I remember struggling to smoke. I didn't like it. I couldn't inhale, and I got to a point where I forced myself to inhale that smoke because all my friends were doing it. They were making fun of me for not being able to inhale. So I went to any lengths just to get that affirmation and whatnot. And that's been kind of the theme throughout my life. I started, my first drug was at the age of 15, and between then and the age of 18, I tried all kinds of drugs. But I remember in my matric holidays, I started using party drugs, and I felt that this is exactly what I need, and it's exactly what I've been looking for all my life. And every other hobby or any other interest I had, which was sport, or mostly sport, but there were other things too, all just fell down to the wayside, and that's all I wanted to do. I remember a friend saying to me the one day, he's like, Donovan, there's more to life than just this. And I'm like, yeah. And there was unmanageability almost from the beginning. I had no problem with stealing something so that I could get money to use, to get back to that party that I had the first time. I had no problems with making debt with dealers. I had no problem with promising that I would pay a friend back, because very quickly using, was right on top. And then, kind of work stuff. I've done all kinds of things. A lot of the jobs I've been fired from because I was either absent or, actually it was just most of the time being absent. Didn't feel like going to work, or I couldn't get up for work, and then I would lose that job, What I want to add in as well is when I finished school, my parents said, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to go and study? Do you want to work? My mom was more towards, carry on studying. My dad was like, do whatever you want to do. I wanted to work so that I could earn my own money, so that I could get away from home, so that I could do what I wanted to do, because like my parents picked up very quickly that there was something wrong with me. I mean, I remember when I picked up my first drug at the age of 15, it wasn't even 2 weeks. I was at the doctor's giving urine samples. She picked up very quickly. And yeah, I just wanted to get a job so I could move out and do my own thing because my parents were the enemy. They were in the way of what I wanted to do. And I did. I got a job and I moved out, but still needed them because I was at their place every week asking for money. Anyway, so I remember at one stage my dad said, I was working for my dad, at the bank, and he called me in one day and he said to me, look, you need to shape up, pick a sport, and join a club, save some money and just, come right. And I started doing that, and it didn't last very long. The last job I had prior to the one I've got now was with a big company as well, Transnet, and I think I was there for 7 years. And I remember when I got my time sheet, there were so many A's for being absent. The first year I was there, I went into a treatment center, and I'd been in treatment centers lots after that. So basically, with all of that, there was car accidents, there was not being able to pay my bills, there was relationships that came and went. I was in and out of people's lives, friends tried to help, just like really, as my disease progressed, so did my consequences, and more people started realizing that there is a serious problem here, And then, first treatment center, that didn't help. It wasn't long after that I went into a house up at the hill. I was 25, and it was completely different to the treatment center I'd been in before. And I just want to add that while all this was going on, my mom and dad tried really hard to save my name. When it came to creditors, tried to save my dignity. Just picked up the pieces every single time. So basically all my consequences and bullshit became their problem because every time the shit hit the fan, I went back home and mom and dad would help. So while I'm getting sick, I'm making them sick as well. And I've got a sister, she's nothing like me. But all the attention was on me, just to help Donovan, and it is what it is, I suppose. Went up to the house, and I stayed there for 4 months. Sat in concern groups, constantly on consequences, every single ban under the sun, but it didn't help. I wasn't ready to take any kind of responsibility. I think at that time I was incapable of taking responsibility. I didn't think I had a problem. I thought that if I could just stop using this particular drug, I'll be fine. And while I was there was dishonest relationships, exclusive relationships, just actually running amok. And proof's in the pudding. As soon as I left, I picked up. Nothing changed. Was still the same person when I left, compared to the person that went in. The only difference was I had a few months of clean time. That was it. And then I went back again after that. Every time I went to rehab was not because I wanted to get better. It was because there was a relationship that I needed to save. There was trouble at work that I needed to avoid. Things at home were getting intense. So I would cause so much shit that I couldn't handle anymore. And I would go into treatment thinking that this is what people want from me, and I know while I'm there, I just need to wait for the dust to settle, and when I come out, everything will be okay again. And that's what happened though. While I was in, going to treatment centers, my parents were outside doing what they did, for me all the time. Pay my bills, save the car, talk to my girlfriend, go to my job, speak to my boss, spending lots and lots of money on my treatment, and while all this is going on, they're getting hopeful. They're coming to visit me on the weekends. I'm looking better. kind of making the right noises, reciting what's in that book. And then when I leave and I go out and I behave the exact same way, they just they just can't understand. Anyway, so I've been up to the house 4 times, twice in quick succession, and then there was 6 years in between the following 2 times. And in that 6 years, drug of choice changed, consequences became more severe, parents started kicking me out, friends started avoiding me, I started stealing from my family. I mean, I even stole a fridge and a microwave from a meeting. I had the dealer in the back of my car holding onto the fridge. Look, I'm not proud, but that's the kind of person I was. I mean, breaking into their house and stealing the TV off their wall, stealing money out of my parents' purse and wallets. They just ran out of places to hide their stuff. They couldn't go anywhere anymore because they couldn't leave me at home. I'd been locked up a few times, and Monday morning I was standing in front of the magistrate, and my mom and dad would be there, and they'll again get a lawyer, pay the bail, just like really hoping that this is like the last time. Maybe Donovan will get it this time. Maybe Donovan will get it this time, but I didn't. And I went back to the house for a 3rd time. This time around, I really thought that I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get well. I started getting a bit more honest. I started exposing a bit more, but I still had expectations. I still had some kind of condition on my recovery. I didn't see it then. Hindsight's always 20/20. But again, I left and I just did the same thing, going to the wrong places. Not running anything past my sponsor, thinking that my ideas and my decisions are okay. But yeah, that's the insanity behind it, not picking up in treatment or picking up in my step work or in groups or anything like that, that I'm mad. That I'm mad, and that even my noblest or best ideas and decisions have got me to where I am, back into treatment and just like causing chaos outside. And then I went back, so I left, and then, this time, my last relapse didn't last very long, but it is progressive, and I ended up on the street, living in an abandoned house with people that sell. I broke into my parents' place twice after that. This time around, I had to go and open up a case against me, which I later found out that it was so difficult for my folks to do that. My mom got to a point where she said to my dad, "Listen, you don't say his name anymore." Pictures came down. She cleaned out whatever I'd left behind. To her, I didn't exist anymore. I think that was the best way, or the only way she had to deal with what I was doing, because I did a number on them, I'm so glad it's not like that today anymore. And then, by the grace of God, what happened was, the day before I went back to treatment, I was walking around the streets in Warner Beach and Tahiti, looking for a house to break in. But I'm too shit scared, of getting caught. And I was actually on the way to a friend's house to go ask for money. I was just I had nothing left. Dignity gone, self-worth gone, family. I was just a bum. I was a hobo, trying to use, that's what basically it is in a nutshell. And I went to this person's house, and for some reason I just couldn't ask for money. And long story short, took me back up to treatment. And I think while I was in that abandoned house, step 1, 2, and 3, I don't know how to put it. I think I took step 1, 2, and 3 then, because I remember sitting asking, how the hell did I end up here? And I could answer myself straight away, Donovan, you got yourself here. There was no more blaming. I knew very well, deep down inside my heart, that everyone tried, and I knew that, I just knew that I got myself there, and I went back to treatment. They accepted me back. I was expecting money from work, so every day, 12 in the morning and 12 o'clock at night, I'd walk to the ATM, Because I had the clothes that I was wearing on my back, that was it, there was nothing else, I'd sold everything, but I had my bank card, and every time I went to put that card in the ATM, the money wasn't there. And I know today, I can see how God was working there, because if the money was there, I would have not gone back. Because I had an idea, I had this plan. I was like, this money's going to come in, I'm going to get a flat for 6 months, I'm going to go buy clothes, and I'm going to eat, and I'm going to buy a cheap car, and I'm going to fix this shit. You know what I mean? I'm going to get myself out of this. I wouldn't have been able to do that, because it just doesn't work that way. And thank God the money wasn't in. I was in treatment for a short little while. I had to get clothes from the dungeon. I had to really eat a lot of humble pie this time around, which was good for me. And I managed to pay my treatment eventually. And I'm just really glad that it worked out that way, because, it could have gone a lot worse, actually. And then, I got back. They gave me a different sponsor. I thought to myself, shit, okay, so I've been here so many times, and they've actually now decided, no, you need another sponsor. And I had my doubts in the beginning. But Josh asked me, he said to me, do you know why you're back? And I gave him a long list of this and this and this and this. He's like, yeah, that's all correct. But the reason why you're back is because you were in charge. You need to let go, and you need to let me decide for you, kind of thing, and it made sense. It made sense, and I knew, like, I just didn't want to use anymore, I didn't have. I've got a criminal record. At the time, I was unemployable. I had nothing going for me. I just wanted to be in a safe place and to stop using. And it worked out that way. And I worked through the steps. I was willing. I think I had loads and loads of willingness. I made mistakes, but I learned from them. And it was the first time that I got told this so many times, but I could only grasp it then, that you said to me, Josh, that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be okay. I'm an alcoholic, and these things are going to happen. And you know what? I'm fucked up, and it's fine. I need to fix it. Cool. And it was the first time that I didn't want to leave treatment. I got asked to go to the halfway house, and I was like, well, if I don't want to go, then what? He's like, no, you're going to go. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then it started, I lived in a halfway house, and the first year was great. I was in a pink cloud. A lot of stuff was new to me, even though it wasn't new. It was new because I was sober. Getting a job, going to work every day, being on time, not stealing from work, following instructions. Every day was an opportunity, and it still is today, to make amends, to do things differently. And I tried that to the best of my ability, and I made mistakes. That self-will starts coming back, and I start doing what I feel like doing, and then the pain follows. And then I get honest, and sometimes I get honest a bit later, End of the day, I didn't drink, I didn't use, I didn't run. And the first year, it was simple, it was fun. And like I said, I experienced a lot of things: friendship, taking on small responsibilities, paying bills. It was all new to me, but I enjoyed it, And basically, the second year has been tough for me. Second year has really been tough, not continuously tough. I've had some moments where I have fun, and there's some moments where I feel like crying, and there's some moments where I feel like ripping people's heads off, and then there's moments where I can actually laugh at myself. And so I think the biggest thing for me this year, the second year, is what's been getting me into a mess, especially around the work stuff, is my idea of where I think I should be. My idea of what I should be earning, what I should be driving, where I should be living, where I should be in life. Some of them aren't unreasonable, some of them are definitely unreasonable. But when I have these ideas and expectations, and they don't come to life, and they're not being met, I get negative, I get judgmental, I get angry, I get annoyed, and it's been it hasn't been easy, but it's also been great, because every day I see something like a sign from God, be it on TV or be it from someone or whatever, and I sit there and I'm like, you're nuts. You know what, you're nuts. And lack of gratitude has been a big problem for me as well because of my idea. I'll give you some examples. So recovery has given me everything again. I came back into treatment the last time with absolutely nothing, just wanting to stop using, and sometimes I open my eyes and I'm like, wow, family's back, the relationship is strong, I've started, I like to call it a career because it's something that I'm doing now that I really, really enjoy, and I can see myself doing it for a very long time, And you must keep in mind, I was unemployable, I've got a criminal record, and I live in South Africa, kind of thing, where there isn't much work, and I got given an opportunity to go and do a few courses that I needed to do to get to do the work that I'm doing now. I've got a car, and I bitch and moan about that car every single day, and it's giving me shit again, and I'm paying lots of money to get it fixed again, but it sure is better than walking, because my last car got repossessed from me, from the bank, because I couldn't pay it anymore. So and then, I think I went so quickly now, actually. Okay, cool. I want to share something as well. So I need to stay at the work thing. So like I said, my ideas get me into a mess, and then I will drive past a guy like a guy begging at the robots, and I tell myself, things could be worse, Or some of my workers come late to work because they have to hop 5 trains and 6 buses, you know what I mean? And I think to myself, I got a car, and I bitch and moan about the car that's jerks a bit, Well, now the brake light's busy hanging out the back, so it's getting a bit worse. But I got a car, that my mom went and took a personal loan to, and bought the car from me because she knew I needed a car, you know what I mean? And sometimes I can, I can really be an arsehole if I want to be, and I had to give, at work the other day, I had to give 10 people end of contracts because the work's kind of coming, I won't say to an end, but it's quieting down, and we've got too many guys on site. And there's one guy sitting in front of me, he's been there a long time, he's old, he's recently lost his son, he recently lost his wife, and it's just before Christmas, and I have to tell the guy, listen, you have to go home. And the guy's crying, And I left work that day with a heavy heart. And I left site, and I got through to one of the robots, and I saw a guy walking, and I'm pretty sure he was on his way to go to school because he looked like a guy that was going to go to school. And it reminded me of myself walking around the streets aimlessly, with no purpose, with nothing, and it just hit me. And this is what I'm talking about, these signs, I need to stop being so negative, and I need to stop complaining because my life is good today. It really is, But it's been like this for me. It's up and down, Life just happens, whether I like it or not, and sometimes it's great, and sometimes it isn't great. I just kind of roll the punches, and, yeah. And then I want to share about some more like madness and insanity. I was in a relationship for not very long, and it stopped, and what happened to me was I was willing, and I wasn't consciously doing it, I'm going to just do it. I was willing to give everything up for this relationship. It immediately became an obsession. It immediately became, like you were saying, Josh, my world just shut down completely. And where it was so big with friends and family and work and possibilities and opportunities and just everything, I just closed everything off. And it got me into a mess and caused a lot of pain. And my sponsor was telling me, you're not ready, and he was pointing things out to me, and I just couldn't see it. I didn't want to believe it. And my whole thing was, yeah, but I'm doing it honestly, I'm not going behind anyone's back. It just shows me, I'm glad, in a way I'm glad that happened, because again, hindsight's 2020, and I could see exactly how I was behaving, you know what I mean, and how I made it all about her. I quickly found out that I'm an insecure person, I'm a jealous person, I'm distrustful, I'm suspicious, and it's a shit way to live, let me tell you, because it's exhausting, and it wasn't fun, And again, it comes and goes and comes and goes. But the reason why I bring it up is I just want to say, completely mad. And if I think about how, without me even knowing, I was willing to give all that stuff up. It's it's subtle, and it's what's the right word? They say this disease is like cunning, baffling, powerful. That's the word I'm looking for. It's cunning. I didn't realize I was doing it, And the mad thing is, I'll get on the phone with my sponsor and I'll tell him what's going on. And sometimes I'll sit with it and I'll behave like such a jerk, and I would just become pissed off with everybody, and then I'll speak to him, and then he'll talk to me, and I'll put in some action, and then it just comes back again, and it just comes back again. So yeah, I just wanted to add that, because I know relationships, I've got lots of friends in the rooms where relationships have brought them to their knees, and yeah, I had a good taste of it, what it's like, you know what I mean? It's got nothing to do with the other person, it's about me and how I am in that relationship. And I behaved the exact same way with my last relationships, clean and sober. I wasn't high, I wasn't drunk, but I was the same person, like I was before. And that's scary stuff, actually. And that's how I know that there's something wrong with me. There is seriously something wrong with me. But yeah, so I'm glad I kept it short. And, I was so nervous earlier because I wanted to sound profound. I wanted to make it all about me, and it's not about that. It's about carrying the message, and I hope I got that right. But yeah, I'm really grateful for my life today. I'm grateful that I have a way out, and I'm grateful that there's something I can work, like this program or the program. There's nothing else. It's just a program that I can get myself out of a mess and see my shit, and see how messed up I can be, and not have to have the need to go and drink and use. Because if I take the last 2 years and try to pick out a moment in those 2 years that have been the most painful, I just need to add drugs to that, and yeah, there's no coming back. So yeah, my second year has been tough, and it's been good, but it's been a lot better than what it was before. And I think I'm waffling on now. So thanks for letting me share.